Hi, I'm a team leader of facilities in the primary care centre in Colchester. I'm part of 20 other community clinics across Suffolk, stretching from Aldborough all the way through to Hertfordshire, including Colchester Hospital. We are being sold off this time next year because of poor senior management. I have worked in the same job for 16 years and have been with different companies. 2 of them were private, which was one Korean, and they went bust. We were part of the backbone during the COVID pandemic, keeping our wards clean and our clinics clean. I'm proud to work for the NHS. I'm shaking. There is 1,000 people will be affected, so it'll be domestics, housekeepers, porters, security, transport, admin and reception staff. As a team leader, I interview the new starters, which will create a 2-tier system, because they will be doing the same job as us, with worse terms and conditions. Thank you.
We found out about their outsourcing aspects through an accident which was put online. Since then they've lied to us, they've withheld information, and we've asked for the business plan, which has been heavily redacted. So the trust I've come across in the 4 years that I've been there as thinking that most of the staff, especially in soft furnishing, soft facilities and management, as overpaid and useless. It changed everything. We're £13 billion in debt across the NHS England, which was really not by the government. Our trust in itself was £190 million in debt. And the trust, since then, have been doing an okay job, we're £85 million in debt. But they talk about, first thing we had a meeting was long-term planning. I almost laughed so loud. They don't have long-term planning for non-clinical issues. The catering facility is falling apart, the kitchens are terrible. And since 2014, when the trust decided to close a lot of the other hospitals and move them all to one site, they've still not replaced the kitchen that was built in the 80s. So we've received our ballot papers. We're going through all the process we went through UNISON, which is great. Enjoying UNISON. So this issue, I wasn't before even thinking about it, but it's been a real eye-opener. I'm glad I did. I've been very proactive with a lot of staff. We've been handing out leaflets down the high street of Colchester, through letter boxes. We're trying to get the message out to everyone as possible. So coming here and seeing some happy faces that are willing to support us is fantastic. Please pass the message on and get more people to sign the petition. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Steve. I'm a housekeeper for Essex. I'd just like to tell you my experience with a private company that I started in 2019 working for OCS. We was in January 2020, we were taken back in-house, but I was still under my old OCS contract. In November of that year, I had an accident on my bike. I done my ligaments and my tendons in my foot. My consultant actually told me that I had to have 8 weeks off recuperation. I only had 2 because I wasn't paid any sick pay for that 2 weeks because I was on my old OCS contract. In December, I got my December wage slip and I got my rent, my council tax and my utilities. I had nothing for food. If it wasn't for my work colleagues, they had to whip round unbeknown to me and bought me 5 bags of groceries. I wouldn't be here now because I would have starved. I like making a difference. I like helping people, I talk to people, and I just don't want to go back to that situation and be scared of not being able to work because or go sick because I'm not being paid for it. Just 2 weeks sick wrecked my life. I had a horrible Christmas because I was worried. I had to go to food banks. I didn't want to go to food banks because I felt guilty of taking it off people that was in need. But then somebody said to me the other day, you were in need. But that's just the way I feel. And I don't want to go back into that situation because, like I said, I've got my partner to support as well. And I don't want to let her down. That's all I've got to say. And thank you very much for showing your support.
Thank you.
The number of workers that are being tossed out into the clause of a private company. This is 1,000 workers we're talking about. This is 1,000 porters, cleaners, caterers, admin staff from not just 2 acutes but loads of community sites, right? So this is a huge deal. It's a huge number of workers who are being tossed out and at risk of having their terms and conditions changed, but not just them, anyone else who comes into those jobs after having their terms and conditions lowered. Hundreds of them have joined the union since this was announced. It's brilliant. They're organising, they're balloting for strike, they're fighting, right? But what I kind of just want to get over is that it's amazing to come and sit in a room like this with like-minded people and talk to each other and say, you know, the rationalities behind keeping the NHS in public hands, the ways that we try and do that, or, you know, what we know and what we believe is great. But we have to bring it out of here as well. These workers are fighting real term, like real life privatisation of the NHS. And it's about more than just their terms and conditions, right? They're fighting for terms and conditions, but they're fighting against creeping privatisation across this country. Because it's their trust, it's trust up the road, it's trust up north, it's trust all over. And what our job is now is to make sure that we stand behind them when they fight, that we stand in solidarity with them, that we are shoulder to shoulder with every single one of these things that goes on, right? We need to send a message now that even a trust in the corners of Essex is not safe from us fighting them when they try to privatise parts of our NHS. It's to send a message that we don't just hope and wait for a sympathetic government to come in and save us. We go to the picket lines, we go to the demos, we fight ourselves, right? That's how. And if you have contacts in Essex and Suffolk, start talking to them about this going on and asking them to come and support these workers when they fight, because they'll be lobbying in their board meeting, they'll be going on the picket lines, and they'll be holding loads of other demos along the way, and we need support from the community and people like you behind them. So the first thing today, get the petition signed to show your support, tweet about it, put it out, talk to your colleagues and your contacts and everything else. Thank you.